Hey guys, welcome to Intractable Daily. I can't remember if I have a few channels, so I can't remember if I put this. I didn't even look beforehand, but about back strain. But I guess I might put these on both. Pardon my microwave. This is about a back strain. Whatever type it is, whether it's I think there are 3 grades of a back strain, and the worst is a rupture where you completely tear it. But I don't think I'm going to make it about that. I don't think I ruptured anything, but I think I have grade 2, like it was very severe. It was brutal. And this is my second day now that I'm virtually out of it. So I feel kind of safe enough to speak about it. Yeah, I can come back by doing even light things, but I like doing videos. I like talking on videos because I have several channels. And I tell you that with the back strain, I already have enough problems with my pain disorders, but just horrible. So I just want to give you, and it feels good to have, that pain go down. And it also depends on which location it was, or multiple locations, as this was my case. So it was about, I would say, 9 or 10 months ago. I tore my back 3 times, and each time was serious. The first time I did it, I was carrying a rocking chair that only weighed about 20 pounds, but I put a printer on top of it. I found 2 items. I was going to go sell them on Marketplace. But this rocking chair, this brand new rocking chair someone threw out, it was like $400. I picked it up in a way, it wasn't small in a way that you could just pick it up normally. And I mean, a chair isn't small anyways, like the width and stuff like that. So it was an odd lift. So it was maybe 35 pounds in total. But I carried it, so I stepped sideways. And I had to reach over like this and carry it like that, and I didn't realize it. I just twerked my back, and I noticed I have adhesive rachnoiditis. I'm not supposed to lift things anyways, but that wasn't it. I only noticed that. So when you hurt your back, it can take up to 2 days for you to feel it, as was the case in my 3rd pull. So my first pull, I noticed that something was wrong, and I pulled my back in about 6 different spots. I pulled it in my lower, but I didn't really feel my lower because I have a lot of pain there anyways. That didn't really bother me, and right now as I'm speaking, that is still pulled. But it's getting better. So I had it pulled in the the lower, I guess you would call them the erector spinal muscles. They're like the spinal muscles that run up this, on the side of the spine, and they're like a stabilizing muscle. They're very tough muscles, and it's, I don't know. Anyways, I went to the physiotherapy, and she looked, and she said she thought it was that. And it's very difficult to tell which muscle it is. Even they may get it wrong. And in fact, she did. She got one spot wrong. Because, you may have a muscle and you may think it's this, but when you go and you look on a diagram, you may be feeling 3 different spots at once. Why? Because a layer of muscle, say you have something called a circle, let's just call it that. On the outside muscle, you press it, you're like, oh, it's the circle, right? But if you peel away that layer, underneath it's a square. That's really the one that's getting you. And even then, you think it's that, you peel away that layer, and it's a rectangle, right? It's really the one underneath. I'm just using those analogies. That's why it's very hard to diagnose pulled back unless it's a straightforward thing. Give me a sec here, guys. I have been waiting to make this video, believe me. So this is about 2 days without. So I healed twice, but something came up where I felt I had to lift something. Maybe I'll explain that in this video, but anyways, actually I probably won't. But so the first time it was really bad, and I'm a person who does workouts in the morning to stay strong. I'm very thin and I live alone, so I have to keep my strength up. And even though I had so it was pulled in the lower erector spinal muscles, so on my lower back, then right under the scapular on both sides, like mid back, okay, it would wrap all the way around to my abdomen. That one was hard to take. You know, you wake up in the morning, the first thing is like, it feels like there's a band around you, it's tight, or someone's behind you and they're taking their fingers and they're pushing in. So I'm going to check my settings on this. Sometimes my video volume goes low. Just checking. It just does it by itself. The nature of computers. And then I also pulled my upper, so like under my neck, it was just pulled at the top part. That first time it took me in all about 4 or 5 months, because I had to learn to stop doing certain exercises to let it rest. So I did, and it got better. The second and third pulls were from the same thing, something I should not have lifted. And it was very heavy, so I repulled what was healed, right? And so when you repull what is healed, you have to remember that healing, they're scars, right? So when you tear a muscle, or you partially tear a muscle, not a complete rupture, but you pull it, when it's healing, you develop a scar, right? So that's like an adhesion. And if it's not healed enough, and even if it's fully healed, you still have that scar, you can still tear it because it's still a weak spot. And it hadn't been too long, but I'm going to get to the third one instead. I healed that the second time. It took a total of about 2 weeks, and this is about 2 weeks as well. You say 2 weeks isn't a long time. Boy, is it ever a long time. My lower back was worse this time. I'd done something worse, like a really, really sharp pain on the bottom. I never went to see a doctor. I didn't feel I had to. I just feel like I had to do the same thing. So what did I do? I wore a TENS machine, put heat, put ice, put heat, put ice, more ice than heat. Not too much resting. I stand all day, and so when I would sit at the end of the night, it would feel so much better. I sit for 3 hours at the end of my night while I eat my dinner. So I pulled the lower, I don't know if they were the erector spinal muscles. I believe it probably was. And but this time I pulled it in 8 places. So below my scapular, you know, your wing bone, just below it, it was underneath it on both sides, and it was probably it felt like a band was just being squeezed around you. But underneath it too, there was another spot, and that spot is wider out. It's like your trunk muscle. It would be your lat muscle that, how do I explain this? Your muscle in the lower area of your back that goes up on the very left and right sides, that connects to your ribs. That was the worst one to tear. Man, I had to put ice on that like over and over and over again. Constantly wearing a TENS machine. A very oppressive feeling to have it in 8 different places. But not only that, so it's 8 places plus 2 nerves of my neck. So I pulled all the top under my neck, shoulder area. So that whole, like say like V structure around the back there was all pulled. And while it pulled that area, it pinched my nerves on both sides. So I had pain running through my face, running up the back of my head, in absolute hell. So, and I take prescription opioids, but because I have very serious pain already, it makes no difference between me and you. Me being on opiates or not, because I already have a level of pain. So what do? Just give me a second. To give my throat a rest. Just give me a sec. I don't know about you, but for me, I don't want to stop moving. I don't want to stop a workout. So what I did was I stopped all push-ups, because I do push-ups every single day. No push-ups. But what would I do? I would get down on the ground like in a yoga type thing, and I would just lightly push myself up, stretch my back. Sorry. Like I get on the ground, right on my stomach, and I'd push myself up with my hands very lightly. Why was I doing that? To make sure I didn't stop working out. But they say to make sure, go for a walk, not a really hard walk, but make sure you keep moving your muscle, keep stretching your muscle enough. It's a really daunting thing to have your back go out. It is one of the harder things that I've had to go through, because it kind of stops your life. I couldn't work anymore, but just part-time thing, like going door to door. And I'm like, even though I tried on a couple of occasions, I'm like, I can't even carry anything. It was just like right up my face, right up my neck. Forget that. So I sure hope you take a shower every day or a bath or something like that. For number one, I would do something like that. Make sure you get heat on your back, right? Stay in there for a little bit longer to, in the shower head, not too hot, right? I think they tell you not to keep heat on for too long, but one strategy is to use rotating. That's supposed to be the best. Cold heat, cold heat. Don't shock your muscle too much with too much cold. I forget the exact scientific reasoning behind it, but that's what they say. And not to leave heat on for too long or too high. So ice it and give it heat. But I recommend buying a TENS machine. I'll just show you it. It really has helped me through. I don't know what it did, but sometimes I was sure it was helping me. What does it do? It promotes healing of your nerves and muscles. So even though I'm like, I don't know, what do you do when you have an acute back pull? Most people will lie in their bed, right? I'm not like that. I want to make sure that that I keep moving, because those types of things can send a person into being bedbound forever. So this is attached to a wire, and the things you put on your back, I don't have to show you those, but I bought this on Amazon for, I think it was like $40, and it was worth it. So 3 back strains, it was certainly worth it. It's called Bellafoo, and there it is right there. I've done a video about this before, but this is a different video because it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 selections, and for each selection, it has 4 modes of the strength of it. Man, don't underestimate these things. And it must be a lithium battery, because I could use this for like 2 weeks without having to charge it. Just charge it in your USB. Pretty strong. It'll make your muscles jump. And anyways, it promotes healing. So I can't speak that well today for some reason. It happens. It feels good to finally have that feeling go down. So all I would say is be careful what you do. I'm the type of person who wears a backpack all the time. It's really helpful to have a backpack on, just in case you need to carry something. Don't carry anything too heavy. Don't carry anything over 10 pounds if you put your back out, 10 or 20 pounds. I wouldn't even say 20 pounds, maybe 10 pounds. But even though you feel like your back is better, say like the first day for me was yesterday, and then again today, so I'm like, okay, it's getting better. I haven't done push-ups in about 2 weeks. So when would I go and try a push-up? So I'd probably, do maybe, I usually do 40 push-ups in a workout. I may do 10 and see what happens. But I won't do that for probably about another week. And what they do recommend is to get back into your workout once it starts healing, but ease into it. And if it works, then you're in the right place. So if what you do in your workout is working, and I don't use compound weights except for shoulders and arms, and those are very light weights. I'm not, I'm like 45 years old. I'm not going to hurt myself, my spine, and all that type of stuff with that. Full body workout is the way to go for people who are over 40. So, without hurting and slipping your discs and all that type of stuff. But anyways, guys, I wanted to share that. Again, I'll say, make sure you're drinking enough water, because remember that that water both stops cramps. Drink throughout the day, or just make sure you drink enough, because they lubricate your joints, right? When you drink water, it lubricates the joints of your body, which it's the most simplest thing people don't understand. So, my joints hurt, or anyways, people get sick by not drinking enough water every day. Make sure you get heat and ice. Just do that. Alternate between the two. But I would say do more ice than heat. But if you need to sit on a heating pad, that's not what I'm saying. Is don't use too high of heat. There it is, guys. Take care.